Hello, everyone. My name is Francis Wu from Xemelgo. I'm the Senior Director of Engineering here at Xemelgo and one of the original co-founding members as well. I'm excited today to showcase the Xemelgo solution and how we can help you transform your operations. Xemelgo is a software company that provides end-to-end visibility into your operations and helps you make better data-driven decision-making. Our solution is enabled by sensor technologies that automatically captures data as it's being collected and is stored in AWS cloud, making it highly secure and highly available so that you can access your data right from your phone from our Xemelgo mobile app. And we also have our AI-powered suggestions and alerts that go right to you and your team so that you're always on top of any issues that may arise. What I'm showing here is our portfolio of smart solutions that enables the end-to-end visibility. And I'll go high level for each one of these, but I'll actually be diving into a demonstration of each one of these modules. For inventory management, this is about tracking raw materials and finished goods that are either the warehouse or it could be on the production floor or even being shipped to your customers. You can be able to see how many do you have on hand, as well as if you have expired products. You can also tell exactly where those are at if they're expiring soon. And we provide an easy interface for you to efficiently manage your inventory. Asset tracking would be tracking things like calibrated assets, equipment, maybe IT equipment, and actually one of the most recently popular ones would be returnable totes. These are tools or things that have a longer lifespan that you want to know where they are within your operations or the different buildings. And almost like a Find My iPhone experience where you can quickly locate where that asset is, so you can bring it back for calibration, or that you know how much you have on hand. Work in process tracking would be tracking your work orders and parts as they flow through the facility. And we can alert you on anomalies that are happening. For example, if a backlog is developing or if a work order is taking too long, those alerts can go right to the production managers. They can make decisions right then and there, as opposed to finding out from a report, a week or a month later. Shipment tracking would be everything from picking, packing, shipping, and receiving, and being able to perform validation and have visibility at any one of those steps. So most simple use case would be as products are being shipped out of a facility, we have a pick list that makes sure that everything that's being shipped out is correct. And if it's not, then you can flash a stack light, for example, to flash it red so the operator knows, okay, something I just loaded is not correct. And this is what we would be able to enable for you as well. And lastly, internal package delivery. So this is, think of it like almost FedEx, but within your facility. This is where Xemelgo also shines, where, outside of integrating with sensors, we're also a pure software company. So this would be a pure software solution that you can track your packages as they're being delivered into your facility and make sure that they make it to the right person and have visibility throughout the entire process. Xemelgo is proud to serve many different industries and verticals. We were born out of aerospace and manufacturing in the Washington state, but have since then expanded to supply chain, distribution, retail, and medical and life sciences. And through all these different collaborations, what we've seen is that ultimately everyone has the same underlying challenge. The need for data is there, but then that is today being powered by users and operators manually entering or scanning data into the systems, which may lead to inaccurate and missing data. Existing software is also clunky and not as easy to use, which makes the adoption even more difficult. And for small to medium-sized businesses that are running their operations that don't have these tools, or maybe using something like Excel instead. But throughout the different customers that we work with, that we closely collaborate with, what we've seen is that this is where Xemelgo really shines in transforming the way you do business. With our modular approach, you can pick and choose exactly where you have the maximum pain points to then determine, okay, this is where I need to deploy the software to start getting visibility into that part of the operations. And from there, if you decide that there are other challenges that the Xemelgo portfolio can also solve, we then make it very quick and easy to expand. And these solutions will work in concert with each other to continue to maximize the value. Xemelgo is an embrace and extend system where you can deploy as completely standalone, or the data can be enriched by backend systems pushing data into Xemelgo, or we can also leverage this real-time data that we're collecting on the sensors to push into existing backend systems so that you can leverage that accurate data for better decision making with existing tools and processes. Xemelgo is a sensor-agnostic platform, and the way we've maximized value for our customers is leveraging the RFID technology. So these are tags that you would see primarily in retail, for example, when you're doing self-checkout and you put products into a bin and it knows exactly what you're checking out. That's exactly the same technology that's powering these solutions today. So you can see there's RFID tags and then there's mounted readers or mounted sensors that help automatically collect data as product is just flowing through. In that case, we remain undisruptive to or non-disruptive to the existing process where operators can move products exactly as they do today, but with the addition of the sensors, now that data is being automatically captured. And we also use handheld RFID readers, and this would enable solutions like cycle counting or locating products, which I'll touch base in just a bit. And then with our Xemelgo solution, as I mentioned, running on cloud, being able to have the interface on a web or a mobile, that we make it very easy to then access that data anywhere in the world. One of the most popular features, as I mentioned, is just the ability to locate items using RFID. Think of a work order that you send someone to go look for in the facility, or there's a asset that is due for calibration that you need to look for that you spend hours looking for. Now with the handheld RFID, in addition to the mounted sensors, will tell you where it was last seen, and you can use this feature to then quickly locate it. We've heard from so many customers that this has been a big time saver and really changed the way and improved their efficiency and performance. Another game-changing feature for us is the ability to do audit and cycle counts using RFID. So typically when you have to shut down production for a week and then send teams to manually count all the products, you can now easily do this with an RFID handheld. So you can tell exactly what products are expected at that location at a warehouse. You can scan tens of thousands of items very quickly with the wave of a handheld. And then from there, we can resolve any discrepancies right then and there and push that data into a backend system so that you have your on-hand counts updated accurately. Now we'll dive into an actual demonstration of the software. The first of which I'm showing is the asset tracking solution. So immediately what I'm seeing is what assets are due for calibration. And from there, I can tell exactly where this asset is last seen at. And as like I mentioned before, you can now use that handheld feature to go to the asset storage location and quickly find this asset and take it back for calibration. You can also manage all of your assets here on the interface where you can see what else needs calibration, what else is overdue, and can also group them by type, so you can manage them. If you're responsible for just the IT equipment or you're responsible for just the returnable totes, there's different ways to group that as well. One really important feature for asset tracking also is the ability to geofence. So this would be assigning a home base to these products and making sure that they stay at those home bases and that they don't walk out of the building. What you can do is you can set up mounted sensors at those doorways, and if something does walk out where it shouldn't, this will send alert to your security team, for example, and then your security team can review the timestamp when that happened, as well as video to then note exactly what happened during that situation. Next, I'll dive into our inventory management solution. And this is showing what's currently on hand across all my facilities. And I can drill into exactly what is on hand at specific stockroom or locations. In this case, we want to highlight things that are potentially low stock or out of stock. And so that will allow a supply manager to know what exactly needs to be replenished. This can also be extended to do vendor managed inventory, where if you are managing inventory on behalf of your customers, you can still leverage the same exact experience. And you can even invite your customers to provide them access to specific locations that they have ownership of, so that you can also then enable them to have real-time visibility into their inventory as well. We can also look at products from an expiration perspective. So for any expiring products, you can tell, for example, by lot number, exactly which lots of the particular products are expiring or expiring soon, and you can manage it that this way as well. We do also send alerts and reports. So if you want to know 1 month ahead of time what all products are expiring so that you have enough time to then handle and take care of them, that's something that we can support out of the box as well. Moving on to our work in process tracking, what I'm showing you here is a facility where I'm tracking production work orders. And as you can see, they're showing that these work orders are taking longer than expected. From here, I can dive into this particular one, which is at QA staging. And then I can see from the map, okay, is it an isolated event at that zone or at that workstation, or is the entire department behind? So in this case, looks like it's just that one zone, and that allows me to make the correct decision and maybe adding an additional person there to help load balance, or at least understand why a particular order is taking too long at that location. You can also see this from backlog perspective. So in the different departments that you have there, you can see exactly how many orders are currently in progress. If I'm a supervisor at the quality inspection department, I can then have this view up on the dashboard on TV, for example, that shows my team exactly which work orders need to be worked on next by order by priority. In this case, showing expedited work orders need to get worked on first. And so in this case, we help streamline the operation so that the which work order you're working on next is immediately visible and is powered through automatic sensor data. One additional thing you can do with this is you can click into this exact work order and you'll be able to tell where it's been before and how long it's been at those locations. This is particularly useful from an analytical or historical analysis perspective, where if we can start determining how often certain parts of certain work orders spend at locations or at certain workstations, then you can also have that data to say, okay, for example, in this case, assembly, always seems to take a long time. Are there existing processes there that we can improve, or what can I do to improve the in progress time that's happening there? One additional thing we can do with work in process is also track both the in process time as well as the gap time. So you have that report available that shows you a breakdown per department, how much time is actually being spent in process and how much time is actually spent where the work order is actually just idle and waiting for the next step. This is really where Xemelgo software shines, is the analytics portion of things, where we leverage our data science team to work on these different algorithms and work with you to provide these reports that would be most useful to your supervisors and production managers. Lastly, for the shipment tracking solution, this would be, again, pick, pack, ship, and receive validation. Here I'm showing everything that's in staging, ready to be shipped. And you can tell exactly how much of that is ready to be shipped. And if I go over the ship tab, you can tell exactly how much has shipped and if anything is still incomplete. And so this gives you visibility into what other shipments need attention to be fully completed. We also support from picklist verification, where you can then go to, as products are being shipped out, you can enter in the order number and the pallet number that is being shipped. And from there, have a very visual way to see exactly what it expects. And this is where I mentioned earlier with the stacklight integration. As product is being loaded onto the truck, for example, you can have a stacklight that says, hey, not everything is scanned yet, and resolve that issue right then and there. Support is also built right into the application. You can see there's a chat window here which connects to the customer success team at Xemelgo. We encourage any and all feedback and ideas, and ultimately, where we see ourselves as a company is that we are highly collaborative, and we want to see ourselves as an extension of your team. So if there are additional pain points or challenges where you think Xemelgo could potentially help, definitely loop us in, and we will figure out together what's the best way to either leverage an existing solution or co-create it together. That was just a quick overview of our software solution, but I invite you to discover more about Xemelgo and how we and our partners can help transform the way you approach you and your business. We have our website that you can see more about what we do at different industries, as well as look at our case studies for how we've actually impacted existing customers. So with that, definitely look forward to connecting more in the future, and thanks for watching.